your eyes for a minute. Close your eyes for a second.
Hello Posh fan, welcome back to my channel, Poshcateyes Unfiltered. We're going to be talking everything Real Housewives of Potomac, episode 12 to be precise. But before we get into the commentary of the day, I just want to take the moment to recognize my subscribers. For those who have been here for a while, 2025 is about to come to an end. I just want to say thank you for supporting me and staying on. For those of you who are still considering watching and considering if you to subscribe, please just hit the notification button, subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. My channel is growing at a very snail pace. I don't even know if the algorithm is recognizing me at all. But that's notwithstanding, I'm having fun running my commentary here, just sharing my unfiltered opinion on reality series. But again, for those who are yet to subscribe, please do so. And thank you for your support. Do like, comment, and I promise to give you a shout out as much as I can. And with that said, let's get into the commentary that was episode. So this particular episode was a bit of an emotional one in the sense that Wendy, we saw Wendy had a falling out with her mom over communications relating to her dad. Now this happened at the very tail end of this episode. And other than that, there wasn't a lot of talking, but probably maybe 3 or 4 memorable moments that we would be harping on. But I do definitely want to go back and throw some light on Wendy and her family dynamic. But first things first, now episode 11 did end where Angel was on the hot seat trying to convince the lady that she wasn't evicted. But this time, you know, it opened up with her still on the conversation because Ashley wanted to know, given that the streets were talking about her eviction notice and the fact that she left not without a lot of thought in how her accommodation was going to go around or work around the show, or the rumor that she was only in Potomac just for the show. She did deny all of this. Now, do we believe her? Not quite. I really don't. She comes across as very arrogant. She lies a lot. And I still don't know what her value is on the show, quite frankly. She's a one-hit wonder. So, but we need to have those because it does give us something to communicate about or talk about. But it did not seem like we're going to get the truth out of Angel. Angel has decided she'll be inviting the ladies to Colorado to experience the Wonderland outlook or whatever it is she has going on, or Wonderland Outback, I'm not sure, something to that effect. And it was here I actually, like, if there was any way that I cannot put up with this woman anymore, it was in this particular episode, because she came across as, oh, they're gonna just come and eat. They should be okay with just having to eat the food we're going to cook for them, or they should be great food that we're going to be serving them food. And if anyone is disrespectful in my home, I'm not going to tolerate that. Angel, we really don't care. You're not going to do any much. You are all back and no bite. I mean, you couldn't even chin check your friend, despite the fact that you said we're going to chin check her. You didn't. So cut the BS. There's just not much going on with you. And we'll move on from Angel and the girls interrogating, Ashley and the girls interrogating Angel, to Timo only having to spend 30 minutes with the ladies. Now, it was so funny because we saw Stacy introducing Timo to Wendy and Eddie. But before they could exchange any pleasantries, he was out the door. And I was like, literally he left Eddie mid-sentence. It was like, bye. I'm like, whoa. Is he never such an introvert that he couldn't even make 2 words or have 2 seconds of conversation? But I really don't know. This is bizarre for me. Like, he didn't even say bye to the other ladies. He just walked off. It leaves Stacey with a lot of explanation to do. However, we did see them during that gym moment having to tell us that they have reconciled fully. Again, Stacey, I really don't know the premise of your relationship or the dynamics that is at play, but I would say this: we wish you all the best in your reconciliation effort. It seems very stiff, but it could just be that who Timo is, or the vibes that I'm getting is off. I don't know. Come on the comment section and tell me. But it does feel as stiff as Stacey sometimes when it comes to his delivery. I don't know. Now, there was an awkward conversation at this family gathering, and this is in relation to Ashley being a cougar. I know Ashley is a lot of things. She is bisexual, she's everything, she likes them older. Who knew she actually likes them very young? And she goes for your friend, kid, kind of young. We'll get into that. So, I want I want to touch base with Tia. Tia is having a family moment. She's trying to introduce chores to her kids. I feel there's something off between her and her husband. I cannot quite place it yet, but the relationship doesn't seem very fluent. It seems very off. I guess there's more episode to come for where we're going to be revealing a little bit more about Tia and her family dynamic. But Tia is introducing us to her stepsister. Now, this particular episode did center around family dynamics and all of the conversations surrounding family. Yes, we meet Tia's stepsister, and it explains the relationship from her childhood and navigating a polygamous type situation. I don't think that this particular sibling was revealed to her not until her father was in his dying bed, if I'm not mistaken, to the way the conversation, carried on. But safe to say they are in a better space and they can, publicly talk about this dynamic. So good on them. Now, Giselle is still trying to navigate her late father's affairs. I think there's still the court process with relations, or as it relates to her dad's will. There isn't any judgment on that yet, and I am really hoping it goes in her favor. However, she is not, slowing down or anything. She is keeping her late father's memory alive by supporting the Brain Foundation over in America. And you know what, Giselle, if there's one thing you did right, is having to give your dad a befitting legacy. It's a worthy cause in this aspect. And so I was all smiles when she was having this conversation with the foundation manager, co-chair, or whatever as it seems. But then I guess by the end of this season, we would find out, the judgment with as it pertains to the will and final decision making. Hopefully it is in Giselle's family favor. But we're going to move on from here. On the family front, Greg and Kiana are now back together. Kiana has moved in and they are communicating well, it seems. Greg seemed a little bit more comfortable with the cameras rolling around, and I've seen a noticeable difference to his demeanor. He's not as uptight. He's even having long conversations with cameras on. So that's a good step and a good progress. Hopefully this leads to the ring that Kiana is, longing for. And I do like Greg. He comes across as a very matured, grounded guy and really suits Kiana. And I do hope for Kiana's sake that this particular relationship, goes the long distance and it leads to marriage. Like with everything, reality and Real Housewives, you know how the saying goes: when you bring your man here, it ends in disaster. Now, we're going to go back to the family fun day that was organized by Wendy and Giselle. Now, let's pivot 2 days before. Clarice, Giselle, and Ashley had a conversation. And it was during this conversation that we found out that Angel had some romantic connection with Clarice's youngest son, who was 27 or whatever, 27 at the time, with Ashley 37 at the time. And if I'm not mistaken, Ashley was still married. And so she literally took her best friend's son's innocence. I don't know, maybe not, but it just screams predatory. It screams very creepy. Now, if this was the other way around, where a male is doing this to a cast member's daughter, I think there will be an uproar. That the fact that it's a male and we are all having to smile and laugh over it, I don't know. I find it very weird, and I don't want to dwell on this particular line of thought. But I would say, when this particular story was shared within the group, a few of the ladies, cringed, and just like my face is cringing, it felt very. I was uncomfortable, and Clarice seemed to be happy with the revelation. I don't know, she probably would have processed it differently, dealt with it behind the scenes, given that this was over a few years back now. So, but I just don't see it as a good look. And we pivot from here to Wendy and her family. Now, before this particular episode came to an end, we see Wendy unveiling the Reno walk that has been from episode 1 down to episode 2, has been ongoing. Obviously, they blew the budget on this particular Reno walk, but safe to say, it actually turned out really beautiful and nice. And one way Wendy wanted to showcase this was to invite her mom and sister over. But before she did that, she placed a call to her estranged father. Now, according to Wendy, she left the dad back in Nigeria at a very early age with her mom. The mom obviously had a tumultuous relationship with the dad and probably led to divorce. Now, you can tell that the fact that the mom moved, miles away from Nigeria, there was a distance, there was lack of communication. Obviously, this woman raised this kid so handedly, and the result would have been resentment and all of that. Now, Wendy, on the other hand, is trying to bridge this gap by reconnecting with her dad. She placed a call to him. They had a few conversations. It went well, and they made plans to obviously see each other during the festive holidays, where she'll probably be going back to Nigeria with her family. But all well and good. The conversation went well. We would have thought the mom would have accepted this progress, given they are now adults and have the right to do whatever, however they so please. But when the mom and sister came, and Wendy communicated that she had made contact with her dad, like every typical Nigerian mom, Wendy's mom flipped the script, literally went bipolar crazy on her daughter. And I think Wendy was trying to protect her kids from, witnessing or hearing this line of conversation that wasn't friendly. And the mom, through a massive tantrum, hissy fit, pretty much tried her very best to shut down her eldest daughter, who has 4 degrees. I'm just saying. It made for an uncomfortable watch, because whilst Wendy was trying to communicate her thought and rationale behind trying to reconnect with her dad, the sister couldn't see why she would do that. According to the mom, doing that alone was a massive slap to her face, because obviously, and understandably so, she raised these kids single-handedly with no support. According to the mom, she quit her job to support Wendy's kids. She's done a lot. She's gone the whole 9 years to support her daughters. And to her, she felt it was like a massive betrayal that they will go back to the man who just sat on the sidelines and is now getting all the praise after the fact. And I can understand, because as a mom and as a single mom, you will think that, all your hard work will be appreciated. But at the same time, I can also understand, because I do not want my child not to have a relationship with their father. Regardless of the issues between us as adults, these kids are innocent, and you cannot force them to go with whatever you say in order to justify your rationale or your reasoning. There is no justification to try and sever communications between father and son or father and daughter. It doesn't work that way. Let them navigate and build a relationship, because this particular relationship, they have lost the foundation of it. And believe it or not, that foundation between father and daughter actually helps daughters as they progress and become women themselves, go into relationship with men, they have learned, pivoted from that family dynamics, and now using that as a yardstick to grow their own relationship. And so for the mom to see red all of a sudden was a bit dramatic. Wendy's mom was wrong in this ground. She was wrong on this front. She insulted her daughter, and I was like, why did she have to do this? And I think Wendy knew that this would be the mom's reaction. And why she went ahead with this line of communication on camera, still beyond me. But I think everything for content, But again, it just shows how people receive or how people deal with hurt. It's clearly obvious that Wendy's mom is still resentful of her ex, and she has fed this seed on her kids. The eldest daughter has accepted her place and supported her mom all through. Wendy is just a little bit rebellious and trying to find her own way and, progress her relationship with her dad. And it is fair for her to do this. And this is where it ends. I guess next episode we're going to find how Wendy navigates this emotional trauma that she is particularly carrying for all of her adult life. It was quite an emotional scene for me, and it was a very strong piece. I would say from episode 1 down to episode 12, this is the most important watch for me, as it had a lot of feedback, a lot of information that I needed to help me, understand my daughter better and help her to strengthen the relationship with her dad, regardless of the relationship I have or lack thereof with her dad. Now, that is it, guys. I would like you to share your thoughts on this. Come on the comment section and express what you think about this particular episode. I know I've been I tried to take my time to run this commentary so, I don't forget everything. But again, thank you for watching. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. In the meantime, you are the 7. Bye.